Hi everyone, my name is Olivia. Welcome back to my channel. So in case some of you who don't know me yet, I'm a pianist and also a Doctor of Music Art candidate at USC Thornton School of Music. Also, I'm a founder of Octave Music Academy. Welcome again. So today is the second video of our From 0 to 1 piano learning series. We have a lot of things to cover today, so let's just jump right in. So today we'll be exploring the music staff, treble clef, bass clef, and also the time signatures. And at the end of all these introductions, we'll be playing a little short piece, very easy version of Ode to Joy by Beethoven. So let's get started. Hi there, welcome back to my teaching studio. So now we're going to introduce staff, treble and bass clef, and also the time signature. So what is a music staff? It's made up of 5 lines and 4 spaces between the lines where we can label every single note on the staff. Each line and space represent an individual note on the piano. So last time we talked about solfege and also music alphabet. Today we're going to learn how those notes are written on the staff. So on the piano, we use 2 clefs. One is called the treble clef, which covers higher pitch sound. If you ever listen to a violin play, violin usually contains a higher pitch. That's why violinists usually uses treble clef. And the bass clef, on the other hand, has a lower pitched sound. Cellists usually use bass clef more often because cello, this instrument itself, has a lower sound. And because piano has such wide pitch range, that's why we use both clefs, treble and bass. And when we put both clefs together, we call it as the grand staff. That's why we need to put a bracket for these two. And that's another reason piano considered as an instrument that can represent the entire orchestra. And for the most of the time, as a pianist, you will use your right hand to play the notes on the treble clef and use your left hand to play the notes on the bass clef. And if we get to draw the treble clef, it will look like this. So you're gonna draw a half circle all the way up and down. It's not perfect, but it works. And the bass clef, you'll draw this flathead first on the 4th line, and then just a half circle. Make sure you don't forget these little 2 dots. That's how you draw the treble and bass clef. I don't know if I introduced the middle C last time. So on the keyboard, we have 7 groups of 7 notes, right? So there will be a group that's right in the middle of the keyboard. And the C is what we call the middle C. How should we find it on the staff? It's pretty simple. See, the middle C is in between the bass clef and the treble clef. So that's why we need to add a line for the middle C, and that's where we put our middle C on the staff. And this added line, we call it ledger line. L-E-D-G-E-R, ledger line. So just now we learned the middle C, where we can spot our middle C on the clef. So make sure you have your starting point to look for the other notes, okay? We have C, D, E, F, G, A, B. Let's try to find the middle group of C, D, E, F, G, A, B on the staff. So basically, you're just stepping up from line to space to line to space and line to space. So basically, you have a line here, right? So D is gonna be above this line, in between this line and this line. So that's where we have our D. E is 1 step up, which is going to be on the 1st line here. And F will be 1st space, G will be the 2nd line, A will be 2nd space, and B will be the 3rd space, and we're landing on C again. So this is going from the middle C, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And if you want to keep going up, then it will be another group of C, D, E, F, G, A, B, right? So C, D, E, F, G, and then when we get to A, we need to add our ledger line because we don't have enough lines to label the notes above this. And same process when going down. So when we're counting down, we're not gonna do C, D, E, F, G, A, B, right? We're gonna do backwards. So we're gonna do C. What's before C will be B. What's before B will be A. And before A will be G. G and F and E and D. And lastly, we're gonna go to C. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the 8th note is the same, right? So same procedure, we have the middle C as our starting point. We go one step down, which would be the top note up here. So this is B and A, stepping down, keep stepping down, E, D, and C. So I should move this F right on top of this F here. So that's how we read the notes on the staff. Before we dive into the time signature, let's get to know the measure first. A measure is a really small segment of music that helps to organize the notes and also the rhythms. It is separated by the vertical lines called bar lines. And each measure contains a specific number of beats, and that number is determined by the time signature. Think of measures like boxes that group the right beats together. It's just easier for you to read and also to follow. And the bar line looks like this. And usually we're just taking 4 measures as an example. And the last measure usually has a double bar line. Whenever we see a double bar line, that means the end of the piece. And the double bar line looks like this. It has a thin and also a thick line together. And then when you look at the score, you will see that the lines is actually keep repeating to divide the notes into the equal parts. Remember last time we talked about the interior design as the notes and also the foundation as a rhythm? Thinking about this as different doors, right? Each bar line represents a door, and you cannot just live in a house without any rooms. This is the rooms. These are the rooms that we need to label different notes and make sure they're evenly divided and easy to keep on track. So now we know why we have measures. Now we're going to talk about the time signatures. So music is organized by measures, and each measure would have a set number of beats. That's when the time signatures come in. 4/4 time is the most common time signature we will see. Like in pop song, generally speaking, almost all of the pop songs are in 4. And the top number tells you we have 4 notes in the measure. And the bottom tells you that note equals to a quarter note. What does that mean? That basically means you have 4 quarter notes in the measure. So if we have this first measure, I need to put down 4 quarter notes in order to fulfill this entire measure. If I have only 3 quarter notes here, that means this measure is incomplete. We need to add another quarter note here. Or we don't need to always using a quarter note. We can putting half note and quarter note together. As long as the total number will be 4 counts, then that will work. So probably for this measure, I would like to use a half note, which takes 2 counts already. and then I need another 2. I can do either another half note or 2 quarter notes here. So in this case, I will just do 2 quarter notes. So that will be 2 plus 1 equals 4 in total, right? And then lastly, we can just use 1 half note, because 1 half note, 1 whole note, I'm sorry. So the last measure, we can just use 1 whole note. So 1 whole note equals to 4 itself. So that's how we label and group the notes into their own measures. And sometimes you will see the time signature switch from 4/4 to 3/4, which is not that common, in pop songs, but in classical, of course, we're gonna have a lot of 3/4s and sometimes 2/4, right? So let's talk about 3/4. So tell me, how should we explain this time signature? I'm gonna give you 3 seconds. So 3/4 represent 3 quarter notes in a measure. So in this case, we're gonna just put 3 quarter notes here. And also, we could put a half note, because a half note worth 2 quarter count, and plus a quarter note. That's 2 plus 1, so equals to 3 counts. And here, we could use this note. Let's just introduce this rhythmic pattern now, so we don't feel surprised later on. See that this one is a half note with a dot, and what we call this as a dotted half note. Dotted half note worth 3 counts itself. So see the rhythmic pattern here. We have 3 quarter notes. We can have a combination of half and the quarter, and we can have a dotted half itself. And lastly, we can just reverse these two. So quarter first and a half. See now that each group only has 3 notes, 3 quarter counts in total. So we need to make sure that whenever we have the time signature set, we need to make sure every measure is following the same rhythmic patterns and also same amount of beats. So let's get back to the piano and time to practice our little beginner piece, Ode to Joy. Hi guys, welcome back to the piano. Before we actually dive into the Ode to Joy by Beethoven, I would like you to start with a finger exercise. So please place your right hand on the keyboard and make sure you can find C, D, E, F, G, and place your 5 fingers on these notes. So Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, C, D, E, F, G, and once you find this, and just place your thumb 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on each note. And just try to play through it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So, and make sure that you are hitting it like this. You need to lift up your finger and drop it. Never go like, this is a really bad way to pressing the keyboard. So try to always, lift up and drop. Lift up, drop. Lift up, drop. And then same thing for your left hand. So see, you have your right hand on this range, and then just place your left hand at the lower range. But same, still C, D, E, F, G. So and then both hand. And just try to practice, this for 3 to 5 times, so your hand can, get a feel of lifting, dropping, lifting, dropping. Okay, and after this exercise, we're gonna get to Ode to Joy. So we're actually gonna stay in the same position. And let's take a look at our right hand first. So which is gonna be the treble clef. Now when you look at the score, everything looks familiar to you, right? So we have the treble clef, we have the bass clef, we have the full four. That means we have 4 notes, 4 quarter notes in a measure. And then we have left hand, a whole note for each measure. But let's just do the right hand first and then the left hand, okay? Let's practice this together. So first of all, we need to figure out what's the starting note on the right hand. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to tell me the answer. So we have C, D, and the first line will be the E, which is me. So we're gonna find 1, 2, 3, C, D, and E. That's where we start. And place your finger 3 on E. I mean, you don't need to change any position since your hands are already there. And just try to press your E, and then try to look for the second note, which is on the same line as the first note. So it's E again. And then the third note is actually stepping up from E, so which is gonna be the letter after E, A, B, C, D, E, and F. So it's gonna be this. And then going up again, and then stay on 5, step down, step down, step down, and then going to middle C, repeat the middle C, and step up, and then. So we haven't talked about the dotted rhythm yet. When you see this, just thinking this dotted rhythm as all quarter notes. So you take a look at the last 4 measures. Basically, the first 3 measures are exactly the same, like copy and paste from the first verse. And the only difference is the last measure. So let's just do the next 3 measures first. It's still starting on E, F, G, stay, stepping down, and then going to C, and then. So that's all we need to know for today. So let's repeat this right hand one more time, and then we're gonna take a look at the left hand. So starting on the first line, finger 3 and 4, 5, and then just stepping up, stepping down. Okay, let's practice together. And then next line will be end of the phrase. Now, after we learn the melody, we need to learn the bass, which is the left hand. So we've covered the notes on the bass clef. It's hard for you to figure out the first note now, because you need to go back to the section where we talked about which note are which. But for now, I'm just telling you this second line, not the second line. The second space indicates the bass C. So just like where we had our finger exercise, we're just putting our left hand here, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. And then we just need to think about 5, 1, 3, 1 for the first line. And then each finger stays on the note for 4 counts. So the first note will be the C, bass C. So we're going to press this one for 4 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the next note will be G, because we are stepping up from C 5 steps up. And then that's where we have this G. 2, 3, skip down from G for the measure 3, right? Since we only have a line in between the second measure and the third measure, so it's a skip down from G. So skip down, we're skipping this one and then going to this one. 2, 3, and skip up again, going back to G. So that's everything you need to know for the first line on your left hand. And then let's take a look at the second line. Can you tell me which note are we starting with? So it's going to be starting on the same note like the beginning, right? So we started on C, and then we're starting on C again for the second line. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then this time the second measure is not gonna be G anymore because the G is in the fourth space. This note is on the fourth line. So if the fourth space is G, then one step down from G will be A, B, C, D, E, F, G, right? F. We're hitting the F here, 2, 3, 4, and then step up from F will be G again. And then 2, 3, 4, and then we're gonna hit the G again, but this time just hold it for 2 counts since it's a half note. 1, 2, and then going back to C again. So that's everything you need to know for the left hand. Let's repeat the left hand one more time, practice it together, and make sure you can practice, along with me. Try it from the beginning. 1, 2, 3, 4, G, 2, 3, skip down, 2, 3, skip up, 2, 3, going back to C, 2, 3, 4, going to 2, F, 2, 3, 4, step up, 2, 3, 4, and repeat, 2, going back to. Now let's put both hands together. It's the hardest part for beginners. It's always easy to practice separate hand because you're just thinking one thing at a time. But when you put both hands, you're actually thinking 2 things at a time. So it just makes your life so much harder. But let's just give it a try, okay? Make sure that you're always giving your downbeat, which is 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 2, 3, 4. Always giving that accent on the first beat. That might help you to, match your both hand. Let's try from the beginning. First of all, place both of your hands on C, D, E, F, G, middle range and the lower range. And then, you know that the first note is gonna be finger 3 on your right hand and the pinky on your left hand. So these 2 are gonna play together. So let's try it. So hit it and then just focus on your right hand. And then the next measure is gonna be your thumb and the pinky together. And just focus on your right hand. And then the third measure is gonna start with your thumb and your third finger on the left. Press it. And then just finish your right hand. And the fourth measure will be thumb on your left, repeat the third on your right. Now let's do the second line. The second line basically is the repeating material like the first line. The only difference is the left hand. Second measure of your left hand is going to be an F, not the G. Let's do it together. Second line. Starting from the pinky and the third on the right. And then this time, the second measure will be 2 on the left and pinky on the right. And then the third measure will be both on thumb. And then thumb repeats on your left and the right hand on 2. And then both on C to end. Now let's do one last round, from the beginning to the end of the phrase. Hopefully you will practice along with the video and comment below if you have any questions. So starting from pinky left, third on the right. Ready, go. So for homework, I would like you to learn Ode to Joy by yourself, and you can also practice along with our video today. Please comment below if you have any questions, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with some friends if they're also eager to learn piano. And happy practicing. See you guys in the next video.